Hello. So let's talk about easy peasy banjo lesson number 2. And I'm going to just show us one chord. We did last lesson, we did How Great Thou Art, just using one finger and our thumb to strum with. We're going to continue with that concept for now. I'll be showing some chords and different things over time. But for now, we just want to develop that. And the chord I want to add is what's called a G7. And it's really easy. We know this as a reminder. This is G, just open. C is this. And D is here. And those are easy peasy chords. Now there are other versions of those chords we'll be teaching over time. But for now, we're doing that because the goal here is that you have something you can strum and sing along with without it being too complicated and just having a really good time. To discover that the banjo is an easy instrument to play and quite fun and so on. And I'm also going to illustrate that this method can be used on a lot of instruments. And there's really not much limit when it comes to string instruments and open tunings. So I'm just going to give a few examples at the end of this lesson, and then at the very end of the video I will play the new build, the new banjo I built out of tigerwood flooring. So we'll be doing that at the very end. But the new chord is a G7. So you go to your 3rd fret and this first string. The strings always count from the highest tone to the lowest tone. So 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. And again, this is my plectrum banjo, not my 5-string. I'll give a little advice about playing the open tuning on a 5-string. When I pull out the one I just built, it's a 5-string, and I'll illustrate that. But this is tuned just like a 5-string, it's just missing the string. It's more for rhythm purposes, etc. So we want to learn to make this G7. And you just put your finger, any finger you want, doesn't matter at this point, on the 3rd fret, the 1st string. And rather than do the whole song, How Great Thou Art, I'm just going to go through the first verse and the chorus using the G7 chord so you see how that's done. Everything else will be the same as it was in the last video. So that's how that went. Oh Lord my God, when I in awesome wonder consider all the worlds thy hands have made. I see the stars, I hear the rolling thunder that now throughout the universe displayed. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. So practice that, and next week we will we'll actually learn a different song using the same process and method. We'll do I've Got a Mansion Over the Hilltop next week. And then the week after that, we'll change songs again, using the same method, adding another chord on What a Friend We Have in Jesus. And so by then, you will have had 3 songs that you can play, and then we'll start developing some other ideas. So that's the actual lesson. So practice that and see how that goes. Now I wanted to talk about open tunings and learning to play and things like that. And part of it has to do with wanting to be able to find an instrument you can play. And this is my regular guitar, and it's tuned to an open G based on an open G tuning on Guitar Tuna. And you could do the same thing with it. I pulled out a pick. You don't have to use one. I'm getting ready to use it on something else that's in my hand. Oh Lord my God, when I in awesome wonder consider all the worlds thy hands have made, I see the... So you get the idea. And you could do the exact same thing with a regular guitar tuned to an open tuning, and it's the same positioning. Open chord is G, it's got the 5th fret is C, and the 7th fret is D. So those of you who have guitars in your closet and you've always wanted to learn to play, get the app for Guitar Tuna, tune it to an open G, and start learning to sing along in an easy peasy fashion and have a good time. So that's how this one is. Now, when I first did this, if you saw the video of Debbie leading some worship, and I was accompanying her in our living room there, called Antique Worship, and I was playing the same guitar. That whole accompaniment was actually done on a Dobro style tuning on this guitar, which is very close to the banjo, which is why I was doing that. As an example, I have my Dobro here, and it might look a little different than some you've seen. I made this instrument, and actually the neck was a newel post for like the handrail on stairways, and then I just started deciding what I wanted to do and making it and putting it together and so on and so forth. So that's how that happened. Now the Dobro has fret markings, but not actual frets, because the strings are quite high away, and you use a slide. Mine, I put a handle on my slide because of my old man hands, and it plays the same as any open tuning. This is an open G tuning, Dobro style, which is very, very close to the open tuning on the banjo. For instance, on my plectrum, on open G tune on banjo, the first string is a D. Oh, a D and a B and a G and a D. So, and that's the. And then your next two strings are D and G B D G B D. GBD, GBD. That's the Dobro tuning, which is the same as a banjo. Banjo is D, G, B, D, so it's just two more strings, right? G, B, as the low strings. And it's the same deal. Oh Lord my God, when I in awesome wonder consider all the worlds thy hands have made. So that's the Dobro. And you can tune a guitar to Dobro tuning and play the same pattern we've been talking about. I'm just going to lay this here on the floor for a minute, and it goes quite well. Now, you're thinking, well, boy, how do I get a banjo or get an instrument or this or that? And so, in the last video I said, well, when I first started learning to play banjo, I learned the old banjo tuning. To correct that, when I first started learning to play 5-string banjo, I learned old Dobro style tuning. But my first exposure to a banjo type instrument was something my dad had put together, who was a mandolin player. And this is a tenor banjo. They have shorter necks, and they only have 4 strings. And you can find those all over the place. And they're often tuned like a viola. I have one that is, but this particular one is strung and tuned as an Irish tenor banjo, because that's what my dad had done, which is an octave lower than a mandolin, and he was a mandolin player. And so I'll just give you, you don't want to tune it like that, but I'm showing you one, and but it's, I don't want to retune it or restring it. So that's the Irish tenor banjo. Of course, that was the verse tune in the Sweet By and By. But you can take that same instrument and put the first four strings of a guitar on it, right? Which would be the higher strings, and tune them to an open banjo tuning and play it the same way. And I have an example of that, sort of. And what that is my plectrum guitar I have tuned to an open G. Now, the deal is, this is the exact same scale length as my tenor banjo. In fact, this was a tenor banjo neck that I built a body onto. And I put guitar strings on it, just acoustic guitar strings. I have the starting with a D and ending with what the guitars call an E string, but I've detuned that. So it D, G, B, B. Oh Lord my God, when I an awesome wonder, consider all the worlds thy hands have made. So you can do that. You could do the same thing with a baritone ukulele. A baritone ukulele is essentially tuned like a 4-string guitar. If you detune that E string down to a D, you'll have a banjo tuning, or what sometimes is called slack key, ukulele slack key tuning in that case. And I don't own a baritone ukulele, but I do have a tenor ukulele that I'll show you how that works. And keep from tearing things up here. So this is a regular tenor ukulele. Now, this will put it in a different key. So if you have you could use a soprano, concert, tenor, any ukulele, you can tune this way. This is considered slack key tuning, but it's the same format as banjo. So what I did, I was sitting around one thinking, I bet I could just do that with this. And I detuned this one step, which put it into an open C in this case, because it's shorter. So it'd be the equivalent of if you capoed at the 5th fret, all right, the C chord. But you can do it. I didn't sing because I cannot sing that song in C, but so it's a lot of fun to do slack key ukulele, but it'd be the same thing. You don't have to learn a lot of chords. You just open, finger at the 5th and a finger at the 7th, and you could do that if you have a ukulele sitting around. I also did it with a mandolin. This is a weird tuning. It's an open G tuning. So you can. So what did I do? I can't remember what I did now. That I tuned it, so I'll have to let you know next week. If you have a mandolin, here's the deal. If you have a mandolin and you want to figure out how to do an open tuning on it, and you can't find that anywhere, if you message me at my channel, I'll let you know what it is. So that's the idea here. You could do it with a lot of different instruments. I haven't experimented with all of them. You can do an open tuning on, Puerto Rican Cuatro, which is 5 doubles, so 10 strings. There's just a lot of little things you could do and play around with. But if you're just wanting to get into being able to play, like I said, guitars, there's always, a lot of guitars around. A lot of people have guitars that they bought and never learned to play because it just seemed too difficult. So tune it, get the free app, tune it to an open G tuning, and start working along with these videos, and you'll be surprised at what you can do. And we'll have a lot of fun with that. And as we add chords, I'll talk about what to do with the string, the 2 low strings on the guitar, because sometimes you'll just want to ignore those. If you find a banjo in a swap meet or garage sale, or someone has one in a closet or whatever, it doesn't matter what kind of banjo it is. It doesn't matter if it's a 5-string, a plectrum, a tenor banjo. You can set it up to play this style and have a great deal of fun with it. So that's all of that. Now I want to introduce you to my new build. So this is the banjo that maybe some of you have been watching the process of putting it together and how I made it and hand carved in the neck and so on and so forth. And so what we have here, and you might have seen me staining the skin, so this is what we have. And this is built, it's a larger skin surface. It's built along the lines of the mountain banjo. Pretty much the same way as the mountain banjo. It's thicker because I actually used an old Harmony tone ring as the ring to press against the skin inside the mountain banjo. What you see here is a little cushion covered in black material because the truth is it seemed remarkably efficient. And so no matter how I played it, it was blowing me away when I'd play it because all the sound was coming up in my face, and it was booming and loud and powerful. And so I put a cushion in to tone it down. So this is the open tuning, and I think it came out great, and I'm quite happy with it. So let me show you something on, if you're playing a 5-string in the method, I was showing you the 1-finger method. Here's your G. Your C is actually at the tuner, the chanterelle tuner. And so you just do that, and then you come up here for the D. Now on a 5-string, it's not, you don't want to hit that drone G string on every single chord, because some chords it doesn't sound very good with it. And use your ear. If it doesn't sound good, good rule of music, if it doesn't sound good, don't do it. So that drone string sounds good with the G, it sounds good with the C, but it doesn't sound good with the D. It's a little off. And so when you do your 1 finger at the 7th fret, let it cover the small drone string too. And now you have a good sound, see? So that's what I do, and that works. My oldest is doing that with the 5-string I built, and you just block that off. So you have those options. So this is it. That's with bare fingers. I've been experimenting with my finger picks on it. So we'll see what I can do here real quick. So that's the sound. that's it. It was fun, and I've been playing and singing with it a lot and enjoy it. I like how the back came out with the middle piece, cherry piece, and the Celtic cross, and it, as I said, it has a deep mellow tone to it, and that's kind of fun. So that's it for now. Next week we'll do a third Easy Peasy Banjo lesson. I won't be introducing all these instruments. I'll just be showing you the next step and a new song. So the Lord bless you guys, and we'll see you later.